Hello everybody, third video of the night. Yeah, 3 in a row. But then again, they've all been kinda, in some way, so whatever. Okay, so now this one just did emotion first, strength second, self-valuation first. Now, this is kind of funny because we were covering Eric's identity versus identity diffusion just earlier today, so psychology connection! But, in this case, I have seen a lot of people that validate themselves through other means instead of actually themselves. Now, identity is another thing that I'm probably going to have to cover, may even cover it immediately after this, because so few people actually have like an established identity, really have their identity all figured out. A lot of people can go through their entire lives without even knowing it. Most do. Most of them just kind of chug along because most of the time a lot of people aren't going to go through what it takes in order to build an idea of yourself, an identity of your own identity, and even fewer are going to be able to come to terms with it. A lot of the time we go through all of our lives not even being able to accept ourselves, not even being able to look in the mirror and be okay with what we see, or be happy with what we see. And for that, a lot of us will have regrets. It's a horrible cycle. I'll probably talk about it later. Probably immediately after this. Why the hell not? I'm on my own. Got my time. It's only like 9 o'clock. I stay up late. Probably gonna be up at this for a very long time. But, a lot of people tend to find self-value in things that they really shouldn't. Most of the time, it's some kind of skill or something, or even worse, another person. Now, skills, okay, yeah, you can do that, but you're not gonna always be the best. There's no way that you possibly can be. And if you are, great to be you. But at the same time, there's always gonna be someone else that's gonna climb up there later, and you can't just let that destroy you just because you're not number one anymore. No one is number one forever, and if you spend the rest of your life validating yourself only through being number one all the time, or being Mr. Perfect or Mrs. Perfect or whatever, then you're not gonna get anywhere. That's gonna fall, that's gonna change, something's gonna happen. If that's all that you have to value yourself on, your one skill is all you've got to validate yourself on, you're not gonna be able to go through life having a positive image of yourself permanently. You're only going to be able to have that value for as long as that lasts in your life, and it may last a while, it may not. It really depends, and with the way the world is and how competitive people can often be, and how many different competitive things there are there, I mean, like, some things are crazy. But if you really validate yourself only through that kind of skill or something, you're not going to have a very solid base of who you are or what you are. You're always just going to be, oh, well, that was that guy that was famous for doing this, or, oh, well, it was that guy that was a famous athlete at this, or something like that. But everything fades with time. Everything changes with time. Time and change are the only thing that is constant. That's it. That's it. Everything changes. Change is the only constant. So you can't expect to be on top forever, and if you do, that's the only thing that you've got to yourself. That's great. You've climbed high, you've gone far. That's great for you. But that can't be all there is. And if there is, then I'm sorry, but that's not going to carry you very far. But another means of self-validation is often through another person, oftentimes in relationships or like a really close friend. Now, I have seen people that have come out of relationships, that have been in relationships for a long time, and have just come out of them after thinking, oh, this is the one, this is it, this is what I'm going to be part of for the rest of my life, and they're not able to even accept themselves, because that part of them is gone. That's just the way things are, but then they don't deal with it correctly. They try to jump right on to the next one, or try to find relief in someone else. You can't do that. one of my biggest philosophies, and this may sound selfish, is that the one person that you can always rely on, no matter what, is always going to be yourself. That may sound selfish to you. It's not meant to be. It's just that you should build on yourself before you go out and do other things with other people. Because you're not going to have a stable sense of self if all you ever do is focus on everything outside of you. That's where a lot of people fail with identity. They aren't able to look inside, or they don't want to because they're afraid of what they're going to see. And it's true. You're going to find horrible things inside yourself sometimes. No one's perfect. And you may be the nicest person ever. But everyone has that shadow to themselves. That's just the way things are. But if you're not able to accept it and you hate yourself forever because of it, and you're not willing, then that may be a bad way of looking for your identity, and that may be a bad outcome of it. But at least you can say you tried and you took a look at yourself. Not going to happen a lot. It's not, unfortunately. And it's going to be something that most people will never do, because a lot of people won't look at themselves from the inside. A lot of people don't want to, because they are afraid of what they're going to see. And me being someone that has, and that's been through that at a decent time, I could say, yeah, it's not easy. There are always going to be things that you're always going to struggle with. There are always going to be things that you wish were better, or that you wish you can change, but the things that you can, and by looking at yourself, you can change them. You're able to accept things. You're able to see who you are and take that negative and make it a positive. No one's great, honey. No one's perfect. That's the way it is. But by finding yourself and looking in, you're able to change those things, to have an impact, to accept yourself, and to have a better life that way. But then when you can't do that, or you refuse to, and you're too afraid to, you go find other sources to try to find something to validate yourself and to make you feel like you have some kind of grounded sense of self. But you're not going to have that, especially if you just have it based on a significant other or a friend. People come and go. I'm the best person to tell you this, because most of my friends, I don't really have many long-lasting friends. My best friends are the ones that have been around for like, at least 3 years. But most of them are all gone. Most of them were like friends for a certain amount of time, and then they just left because of one reason or another. Maybe me, maybe themselves, maybe circumstances, maybe just time, I don't know. But me being a person that doesn't have those kind of connections and has had a lot of people just walk in and out of their life in no time flat, I know what it's like. And I know very well that you can't let that be what defines you as who you are. And in this case, this was a person that that validated themselves through everyone in their lives. They didn't have an identity outside of what their friends told them or what their lover told them. And when you have that, as soon as that leaves, everything just falls apart, but then you have to search for it again, and oftentimes you aren't going to find it, or it won't be the same. Or you're just going to keep searching futilely, chasing shadows for something that's not even there, or that you don't even know. That's not the way it should be. It's not. You have to be able to look on yourself first. Look inside on yourself first. That's the way that you're able to have more fulfilling relationships and friendships. Because you're able to bring yourself to the table, because you know who you are. You know your weaknesses. You know your strengths. You know what you can bring to things. You have a sense of self that will be grounded whether that person is there or not, whether that skill is there or not, whether that condition is there or not. You will always be yourself, but when you're in a situation like that, you don't have that. And when you don't have that, you have no real stability. Yeah, you have the world around you and the circumstances, but those change too. So what stability do you really have if you can't validate yourself for yourself and not the people around you? I've had a lot of people that have been in that kind of situation. In fact, I got out of a very long relationship not too long ago, and I was able to handle it no problem, but that was because I'm the kind of person that just like, okay, gone, next. Oh. Computer's like, you're talking for too long and you're not doing anything with it. You're not paying attention to me. I'm here, you know. Technology doesn't like me. It doesn't. I had a phone for like 3 months, and one of the speakers was broken, the keyboard was all messed up and mixed up. How do you fuck up a phone that badly in 3 months? I didn't even drop it into anything or anything. It just, technology just doesn't like me. But, I've had a lot of people where they lose something that was a big part of their life, and then they sit there trying to run after everything, trying to find something else to grab onto for dear life, to try to define who they are, or tell them something about themselves. And that's not the way it should be. You should be able to know yourself first, and then bring that to the table, because then what are you? You're just kind of a sponge of everything around you. And that is something that really bothers me. Nothing bothers me more than someone that is just either one of what I like to call either one of two things. One, a sponge, or two, a lamb. Mainly one being that they just kind of soak up everything around them and that is who they are, or they just kind of follow everyone else's example right off the cliff like a fucking lemming, and that's just who they are. It's the people around them or what they do or what they engage in that makes you who you are, and it's not. A lot of people have come to me when they've lost someone or something important in their life, like they're changing locations from a place where they were all of their entire life, or they've been in a relationship that they were in for years, or something that ended, and all of a sudden they're lost, running to anything and everything. That isn't the way that it should be. And if you're one of these people, I'm sorry, I don't mean offense to you, but this is the way it is. Chances are, I've already told you this. Chances are, I've already told you this. This is probably a rehash of what you spoke to me about personally. And chances are that's like 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many of you. I had a lot of cases like that. Being the psychologist, you help a lot. That's just what you do, and I love it. I love the idea of being able to help people. That's part of what brought me into this. But I digress. It's just not the way that you should find things about yourself. You shouldn't define things by other outside forces. Yourself is right there. Right there. Just waiting. It's not going anywhere. It's not changing unless you make it change. Chances are, though, since you don't know yourself, you aren't making it change anyway. So, the real self is right there, and if you take the time to get to know the real self, then guess what? You can have better relationships, better friendships, better your skill, better whatever. It will be because you know yourself, and you know who you are no matter what the situation is, that you're going to be able to be a better person and handle things better. And it's through that you can really validate yourself, not something that changes or something that's unconstant. And this may be like something that's been in your life for years. I don't know. Like I said with the situation of the house or something. I know people that have lived in the same spot for most of their lives, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my god, I have to leave this place that I grew up in. Everything was here. What do? This was everything. All the memories, all the friends, everything. It was all right here. And now all of a sudden it's gone. Things change. Everything changes. That's the only thing that's constant. So when you rely on outside forces, you're doomed in the first place. You gotta look inside, and that's fucking scary, yeah, I know. Most people will never deal with it in their entire lives. Like I said, I'm probably going to be saying a lot of this when I talk about identity, but it's not outside of yourself. Yes, there are factors outside of yourself that can define you, like being in a part of a relationship. If you've been in a relationship for a long time, and that person is a part of you, they're a part of you, but they shouldn't be what defines you. What defines you is you. You, not the person you're with, or you, not the place you've lived, or you, not the skill that you've invested so much time into, or whatever. Things change, nothing is constant, and as much as we'd like it to be, and I'd love it to be, I'm a person that loves guarantees, that loves solid things. You can't always have that, and it's when you validate yourself through things like that you lose everything as soon as that one thing changes or leaves. And that's not the way it should be. So I've been going on about this for a while. Like I said, you're probably going to hear a lot of this rehashed in identity, although that's a huge thing. I love that topic. I love it. But you're probably going to hear a lot of this rehashed in that. But for now, I think this is plenty. I think I've covered it pretty well. So I will see you guys later. Bye.